In a quiet American town surrounded by thick forests and lonely highways, there exists a dark legend that has haunted people for decades. Locals speak in whispers about a woman so beautiful that no man could resist her charm. She appears only at night, wearing a long white dress that glows softly under the moonlight. Her black hair flows like silk in the cold wind, and her eyes shine with a mysterious light beautiful yet terrifying. They call her the Killer Beauty. According to the old stories, she was once a real woman who lived over 100 years ago. She was betrayed and murdered by a man she loved, and her spirit never found peace. Now she roams the roads and woods, waiting for lonely travelers, especially men. Her ghost uses her perfect beauty as a deadly trap. When she smiles, her victims forget everything, their fear, their reason, even their sense of danger. Many men have seen her standing beside the road, pretending to need help. When they stop and follow her, she leads them deep into the forest or to her old mansion, a decaying house hidden behind thick trees. From the outside, it looks peaceful and quiet. But inside, it's a house of death where countless souls have vanished. No one who follows her ever comes back. The police only find empty cars, engines still running, doors open, as if the drivers simply disappeared. Some people believe she kills men and eats their flesh. Others say she drinks their souls to keep her beauty forever. But one thing everyone agrees on: if you ever see a beautiful woman alone on a dark road, no matter how innocent she looks, never stop your car. Because the Killer Beauty is always watching, waiting for her next victim. The legend of the Killer Beauty wasn't just a ghost story told to scare children, it was something the townspeople truly believed in. Over the years, dozens of strange disappearances had been reported. Most of them were men traveling alone at night. Their cars were always found in the same condition, parked by the roadside, doors wide open, headlights still shining into the fog, but the driver was gone without a trace. Witnesses claimed to have seen a beautiful woman standing near the spot before the disappearances happened. She would appear out of nowhere, barefoot, dressed in white, her face calm and inviting. Some truck drivers said she asked for a ride to a nearby town. Others said she simply smiled and whispered something that made them stop. But no one who stopped ever made it back. People who lived near the forest often heard strange noises at night, whispers, cries for help, and sometimes the sound of laughter that didn't sound human. A few brave souls went searching for answers, but even they never returned. The police searched the woods multiple times, but all they ever found were torn pieces of clothing, a few drops of blood, and sometimes the faint scent of roses, her favorite smell, according to old tales. Fear began to grow so strong that locals refused to drive alone after midnight. They told travelers to lock their car doors and never stop for anyone, no matter how helpless the person might seem. One old man in town said he once saw her reflection in his car mirror. She was standing behind him, smiling even though no one was there when he turned around. After that night, he left town forever. The woman's curse continued to haunt the roads. Every few weeks, another man disappeared, and people whispered the same words again and again. She found another one. One autumn morning, a young journalist named Ethan Miller arrived in the small town of Raven Creek, the same town haunted by the legend of the Killer Beauty. Ethan worked for a digital magazine that published mysterious and paranormal stories. He had traveled across many states chasing strange tales, but this one felt different. The townspeople's fear seemed real, not just superstition. At the local diner, he sat with his notebook, asking the locals about the ghost. Most refused to talk. Some warned him to leave before nightfall. But one old bartender finally spoke. He told Ethan about the woman, how she appeared on foggy nights, lured men into her old house, and left nothing behind but silence. "If you value your life," the man said, "don't look into her eyes." Ethan smiled politely. He didn't believe in ghosts. He thought these stories were exaggerated, perfect material for a viral article. His plan was simple: Find the old mansion, take some photos, interview witnesses, and expose the truth behind the myth. He believed there was always a human reason behind every haunting, perhaps a murderer using the ghost story as cover, or maybe a dangerous gang hiding in the woods. That afternoon, Ethan visited the local library and found an old newspaper from the 1920s. The article spoke about a woman named Isabella Moore, known for her beauty and charm. She was found dead in her home, betrayed by her lover, who vanished afterward. Many claimed her ghost never left Raven Creek. Something in that story fascinated Ethan. He decided to spend the night near the forest road where most disappearances had occurred. He set up his camera and voice recorder inside his car, determined to catch something or someone on tape. As the sun set and fog crept over the trees, Ethan had no idea he was being watched. From the shadows, she was already there waiting. Night fell over Raven Creek like a heavy curtain. The moon hid behind thick clouds, and fog wrapped around the forest like a ghostly blanket. Ethan sat inside his car on the lonely highway, camera ready, recorder running. Hours passed in silence, just the sound of crickets and the occasional whisper of the wind. He was starting to think the whole story was nothing but a myth. Then, at exactly midnight, his headlights caught something. A woman stood at the edge of the road. She was barefoot, wearing a long white dress that shimmered faintly in the mist. Her black hair blew gently in the wind, and her pale face looked heartbreakingly beautiful. For a moment, Ethan froze. Her beauty didn't look real, it looked almost perfect. She stepped closer and softly asked, "Can you help me? My car broke down." Her voice was smooth, almost hypnotic. Without thinking, Ethan nodded and opened the door for her. The smell of roses filled the car the instant she sat inside, sweet but strangely cold. As they drove, she told him her name was Isabella. Her voice was calm, her smile gentle, but something about her eyes made Ethan uneasy. They didn't look human. There was a faint red shimmer inside them whenever the headlights flickered. Still, he couldn't look away. Every time she smiled, his thoughts became cloudy. He forgot where he was going. He forgot why he was even there. It was as if her presence pulled him into a dream. After a few miles, Isabella pointed toward a narrow dirt road leading into the woods. "My house is just down there," she whispered. "Would you like to come in for a moment?" Despite the chill running down his spine, Ethan agreed. His curiosity and her impossible beauty controlled him completely. As the car disappeared into the fog, the forest grew silent. Raven Creek had claimed another night, and another soul was walking into her trap. The narrow dirt road led deep into the forest, swallowed by darkness and mist. Ethan's headlights barely cut through the fog as he followed Isabella's directions. The trees on both sides seemed to lean inward, their branches like long arms reaching toward the car. After a few minutes, the road opened to a clearing, and there it stood, a massive, old Victorian mansion, hidden from the world. The house looked abandoned. Its windows were covered in dust, and ivy crawled up its cracked walls. Yet, strange flickers of candlelight glowed through the curtains, as if someone still lived there. Ethan parked outside and stepped out, his shoes crunching on the wet ground. The air smelled faintly of roses again, the same sweet, haunting scent. "Come in," Isabella said softly, opening the heavy wooden door. Her smile looked warm, but her eyes carried a strange sadness. Inside, the mansion was beautiful but decayed. Portraits of unknown people hung on the walls, their eyes following Ethan as he walked. Cobwebs covered the furniture, and the air felt colder with every step. Ethan noticed something odd. In one corner, there were men's shoes scattered across the floor. Some looked new, others old and covered in dust. His chest tightened, but before he could ask, Isabella's voice floated through the hall. "You look tired. Sit down, I'll make you some tea." Her footsteps were silent as she disappeared into another room. Ethan sat, clutching his camera. He could hear faint whispers, voices that seemed to come from the walls themselves. Then he noticed something else, a mirror in front of him. But his reflection wasn't alone. Behind him, he could see shadows moving, figures of men with hollow eyes. He spun around nothing. The house was empty. Then Isabella returned, holding a teacup. Her smile was wider now, too wide. "Drink," she whispered. "You've come a long way." Ethan's heartbeat quickened. Something in that cup smelled wrong, like death disguised in perfume. Ethan's hands trembled as he took the cup from Isabella. The tea smelled sweet, but beneath the scent of roses, he caught a hint of something metallic, blood. Trying not to show his fear, he placed the cup down slowly and looked at her. She stood across the room, her pale face half hidden in shadow, her eyes glowing faintly red. "Who are you really?" he asked. Her smile faded. For a moment, silence filled the air. Then a low hum began to echo through the house, like the voices of many souls whispering all at once. The candles flickered violently, and the temperature dropped. Ethan could see his own breath. Isabella's beauty began to fade, her flawless skin cracking like glass, revealing rotting flesh underneath. "You shouldn't have come here," she whispered, her voice now layered with hundreds of others. "They all came for my beauty, and now they are mine forever." Ethan stumbled backward, his camera falling to the ground. In that moment, he realized the truth: the shadows in the mirror, the scattered shoes, the whispers in the walls, they were all her victims. She didn't just kill them, she absorbed their souls to keep her eternal beauty alive. Isabella's face twisted into a horrific grin, her teeth long and sharp like a beast's. "You wanted a story, didn't you, Ethan?" she hissed. "Then write this with your blood." She lunged toward him. Ethan ran through the hall, knocking over furniture, but every door he opened led to another version of the same room. The house itself seemed alive, trapping him inside. The walls pulsed like veins, whispering his name. He turned one last time, and there she was, inches away. Her hand gripped his face, her eyes burning into his soul. "Now you belong to me," she said. And with that, everything went dark. Morning arrived in Raven Creek with a heavy fog that refused to lift. The forest was silent, the kind of silence that feels like the world is holding its breath. A passing truck driver noticed a car parked on the side of the highway. The engine was still running, headlights on, driver's door wide open, but there was no one inside. On the passenger seat lay a camera and a notebook covered in dirt. The name on the notebook read Ethan Miller. The police were called, and soon search teams combed the woods for hours. They found nothing: no footprints, no signs of struggle, just the faint smell of roses hanging in the air. Inside Ethan's camera, only one picture was found. It showed the outline of a woman standing in the fog, her eyes glowing red, her smile frozen in the darkness. The town fell into fear again. People whispered that the killer beauty had claimed another victim. Some said Ethan's spirit could still be heard screaming from the woods on cold nights. Others swore they saw a new shadow standing beside Isabella's mansion, a man's shadow, trapped forever behind the dusty windows. Weeks later, a young traveler passing through Raven Creek saw a woman standing by the same roadside. She was breathtakingly beautiful, with black hair and a soft, gentle voice. "Can you help me?" she asked with a sweet smile. The traveler stopped his car without hesitation. That night, another engine was found running, another door left open. And the next morning, another name was added to the long list of missing men. The curse of the killer beauty lived on, feeding endlessly on desire and curiosity. Her beauty never faded, because every soul she devoured kept her young and radiant. And as the fog swallowed the road again, her voice echoed through the mist. "Thank you for coming. I've been waiting for you." They say beauty can be dangerous, but in Raven Creek it was deadly. Her smile wasn't a gift, it was a curse that fed on the hearts of those who dared to desire her. So, the next time you're driving down a lonely road and you see a woman standing in the fog, smiling at you, don't stop. Don't look back. Because some beauties aren't meant to be admired. They're meant to kill. This was The Killer Beauty. For more chilling stories and English horror tales, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. because the next story might just be the one that finds you. Subscribe now before the next story finds you.